Hello, I'm Nat Ives at Advertising Age in New York, and today we're looking at George Lois, a legend in the field of advertising and magazine design. Part of the creative team at Doyle Dane Bernbach that began revolutionizing the creative nature of advertising in the 1950s, he launched his own agency in the early 60s. From 62 to 72, he was also art director of Esquire magazine. His decade of cover designs produced a number of stunning images that became enduring icons of American culture. This year, those covers were honored with their own exhibit at the Museum of Modern Art. At the same time, Mr. Lois has published a new book entitled George Lois on his creation of big ideas. And when he recently appeared at the One Club's The Real Men and Women of Madison Avenue exhibit here in New York, I sat him down for a quick chat. I began by asking what he thought of the October issue of Esquire, which featured the industry's first battery-powered cover.
I think they called it one of their great covers. You know, it's shocking. I mean, it's a silly, gimmicky thing. By the way, it cost $250,000, I'm told. No, it was ridiculous. I was embarrassed by it. I think, to tell you the truth, most people at Hearst were embarrassed by it, because I talked to a lot of editors at Hearst. And they were embarrassed by it. But I was embarrassed about it. I was embarrassed that the Esquire name was on it, because I'd like to think that Esquire could come with some great stuff, but that wasn't great. That was just ridiculous. And also with the headline that says, the 21st century begins now, with this Mickey Mouse light clicking on and off. It's not an idea. Great covers have to be a big idea. When will they learn? Oh Lord, how long will it take for them to learn?
Tell me what you thought of Barry Blitz's New Yorker cover, the one that portrayed the Obamas as radicals in the West Wing, that caused so much controversy on all sides.
Recognizing it was bright and recognizing it was clever, you know, I hated it because I want Obama to win, because it's our last chance to prove to the world that we're not the capitalist pigs that we really are.
I believe the intent of that cover was to mock the sort of knocks that circulate and the rumors and so on. Sure. Do you think it worked?
No, it was well intentioned. You know, I mean, David Remnick is not an idiot. You know, it's well intentioned. It was parody. It was everything that he said, and a lot of people thought it was. But at the same time, it confused a lot of dumb voters. If I was at New York, I wouldn't have let it run, and I told David he shouldn't have run it. And you know, I think he almost agrees with me, but they did what they did. But again, it was well-intentioned, and it was very bright, but that doesn't mean well-intentioned and bright is always good.
Have you seen any covers you did like in the past year or so?
Well, I've seen other New Yorker covers. I've seen other New Yorker covers I liked a lot. I mean, the Obama and Hillary Clinton in 3 o'clock in the morning in bed together, that was hot shit. That was fun. What Remnick has learned to do is he's learned in the last couple of years to make sure they got an up-to-date idea about something that just happened that week. You know, and it's something that I really pressed on him a couple of years ago when he was asking me about covers, and I said, and he was even at one point saying, gee, do you think we should go into photography? We said, why in the world would you do that? I mean, you know, everybody's covers look the same, and you at least have the cartoon or the drawing, and you own that. Now what you got to do is make sure you continue doing covers and try to really nail down things that happened on Friday and run something on Monday. And you got the talented people there, and you got talented people with ideas. And that's what he's been doing, and some of them have been great. Unfortunately, the cover, the Obama cover was a Frankenstein. I created a Frankenstein.
I got one question about you.
Yeah.
Your book looks back at some of your big ideas and where they came from.
Yeah.
Did anything surprise you when you went back to try to remember, how
I
did
was
I think
shocked.
of that?
Oh no, I mean, I always wanted to do a book that tried to explain to young people, or to anybody in the creative area, that nothing comes, it doesn't come out of, it's not a lightning bolt out of the blue. It's not, a genius, it's not, what it is an understanding of 5,000 years of art, understanding 5,000 years of human civilization, understanding film, understanding great movies, understanding the comics, understanding ballet, and having that kind of a full-rounded. And when I talk to young students, anybody been to the Metropolitan Museum in the last year? How about Museum Modern Art? one, it's frightening, you know. I mean, it's just frightening, you know. So I've always wanted to do a book from a guy who is acknowledged as a great graphic designer, a great graphic thinker, with a big idea. I wanted to do a book that said, it didn't come out of the blue. It came out of my experience. It came out of my deep love for literature. It came out of my deep love for this, you know. And I think it's an important book because of that. When I started to work on the book, and I looked at some things, and I looked at some of the things I thought were terrific, I said, now where the hell did I get that from? And sometimes it was obvious, and sometimes I had to dig a little bit, and sometimes I was shocked where it came from, because it doesn't come out of nowhere, you know. You know, I did a cover, you know, with the Andy Warhol drowning in a can of gigantic soup. And I said, where did I get that from? I mean, I had the idea, but where did I get? And I remember one of the scenes in a Hitchcock film in North by Northwest, when Cary Grant and that wonderful actress, the blonde, terrific, on the nose or on Mount Rushmore, and they were against these gigantic heads, and they're walking along. I mean, that's where it comes from. Because I remember being blown away when I was a young kid, and I saw that. I went, whoa. I remember being blown away by certain scenes. I remember being blown away by Fellini, the opening of La Dolce Vita, you know, and he wants to set the stage and talk about Rome being a sin city. And he has a modern helicopter flying above Rome, and dangling from it, it's carrying a statue of Christ somewhere. You know, transporting it. But what an image! It's flying over the city, the sin city, and Christ is looking down. You know, on top of it. I mean, those are things that just incredible. And I have 500 of those in my head, and it all comes from that somehow. The DNA is there. You know. And the teaching is to go to a library, to go to the museums, to go to the old black and white movies. Yes, kids today, what's your favorite movie? You know, their favorite movie is Star Wars. Have you ever seen Expo Winston? No. Have you ever seen Grapes of Wrath? No. Have you ever seen wow. I say, God, I wish I were you. Why? I wish I was you, and I hadn't seen those 100 great black and white films, and I could experience them again, for the first time. You don't know the thrill you got, you know. So that's what I'm trying to do with the book, and hopefully it'll at least get to instructors and teachers. A couple of people were here just now, and they're talking about how they try to inspire the kids with my work. And I'm saying, well, this is the book that should do it. This is the book they got to look into it, and it's got to make them say, I got to expand my knowledge. I got to expand my experience. You know, I got to expand my passion for all things.
Tell me what Ad Age was like for you.
Well, when I was a young man, when I left Doyle Dane, you know, and I was a big star there, you know, along with 3 other great art directors. I started my own ad agency, which was the second creative agency in the world after Doyle Dane, and it was the beginning of the creative revolution. But the enemy in the trade press was Ad Age, and the reason was because there were establishment trade paper, and all the big agencies were getting they were being their clients were complaining to them, saying, look at what Doyle Dane does, look what Paprikating Lois does, that's exciting stuff, why can't you do that? So we became the bad guys, you know. There were editorials written in Ad Age against ads I did, editorial page, you know. They were tough, you know. They were a big pain in the ass, and they were really, I mean, I for many years called them advertising old age.